Yes. Thank you very much. Good morning. Yes, so thank you very much for the kind introduction and all of these things which are being in research and collaborations and so on, those comes from meeting people. And it was now 8 or 9 years ago when I came into contact with Professor Hashmi about fluorescent silicon carbide as a new white LED material. So that was one of the new avenues which we initiated. But like in everything, it is very much needed to have collaboration, because our part is research of material. So we are doing growth of the silicon carbide, but then we collaborate in characterization and devices and so on. And that brings us to the importance of this exchange. Like now we have had this project between Sweden and Pakistan, so there is some mobility exchange. But when we meet each other, that creates opportunities. And I started as a PhD student 1995 and got my PhD in 1999. So that was a little longer than this conference has been. So it was many years ago. And of course, I was very fascinated about the crystal growth. And we have been writing papers in the different topics based on silicon carbide. And we started with graphene maybe 15 years ago in 2005. So these materials has always been close to my heart. And during the years, the research has become more and more competitive when it comes to applying for grants and so on. And at the same time, there's a big need in the world to have technologies which are really implemented on the market. And like in our avenue, where we are in the semiconductors and nanotechnology, we are more into the key enabling technology type, which means that it takes more years to implement them and do the research, innovation to market and technology. So it always takes many years. And as an example, I usually take the blue LED, which was the base for the white LED, which became now a big market. But the research started in 1970s, and then it was work done in 80s and 90s. 1993, I think the blue LED was commercialized. And then 15 years later, the white LED became a big market. So this key enabling character was then realized. But it took 20, 30 years. And this is similar when we are doing the research on nanotechnology. We have to have this type of thinking. And in the beginning, the research is very important that we publish papers, because that is the foundation. But during the years, I have seen that it is also a possibility to create like an academic career to commercialize the findings from the research. So, and during last 5 years, I have been more and more involved in creating startup companies, technology transfer, but also regional economy. How can the regional economy and the strategic things about the region align with the research and innovation? So in Europe, there is a program which is called Smart Specialization. This means that the regions should focus in areas where they are a little bit stronger, which basically means to create value chains. But in the research and innovation, that is also collaboration between the manufacturers of material and then the device manufacturers. So that is also value chain. So the alignment of research and innovation with the regional development, that is for me one of the trends which is coming more and more and becoming very important in order to realize the technologies which we are studying. And of course, in this level which we have now, it is very high character of the technologies, which means that there is no Locally you don't have the, it seems that there's a bad connection. Can you hear me still? Yeah, now I'm back. So this means that whatever we do, we have to collaborate, and all the matching competencies, they will not be available in my place or your place. Then it becomes always international. So that's why I really like these international meetings like you have now in the field of semiconductors and nano devices. And when we talk about semiconductors and in particular nanotechnology, then the areas become very broad. So there are many, many disciplines. And the common thing for them is innovation. So one of the trends which I believe in, which I have seen, is that the innovation character, that is something which we can discuss more together and share experiences. And like since last year, we have been initiating discussions about innovation capacity at conferences, which means that researchers who have interest to commercialize or make usefulness, they can interact and discuss in particular sessions, which are in addition to the scientific sessions. So then we add on the value on the innovation character to the basic research. So research and innovation is something which is growing and which we should focus on. And that's why I also like this when we applied for a continuation of the mobility project to an actual real project with graphene and nanotechnology. We have taken the next step. And of course that takes a long time to implement all these things because we need the funding, but we also have the long-term persistence. So then this collaboration is very important because when that is strong, we can continue over many years to continue to apply for projects and then innovation and the other things. So for me, this path of entrepreneurial research is something which is a trend which can be growing. And now if you consider what we have been doing and contributing with so far, that's why it's so good with young students like Navid. They are producing the papers. But over the years, when we implement the technologies, it will take many, many years. So these young researchers, they are very important that we encourage them to continue their path and that they do what they believe in. Because then they will be more focused on things which are becoming usefulness, and they will continue this over the many years. And in this aspect, for example, if we can introduce the local investors and local governments, that there is more interaction with us, but also the young researchers. So this is a natural alignment of the things, of the activities. And I saw that this is also one of the topics at this university of the local investors, which are making the young researchers to grow. And education is the foundation for what we are doing. And my particular focus is on this innovation capacity. So actually during this year, I will initiate some sessions where we can discuss and have exchange. Now I'm sorry that I could not participate so I could meet you face to face at your location, but I hope that this will be an opportunity for one of the coming years. But there we could have exchange about these earlier experiences, so we could use those to initiate innovation. And in September, I will be part of organizing an innovation session at the nanoscience meeting, which is in September in Manchester, UK. So if you have the possibility to come there and discuss and have more exchange, I think this could be a further opportunities for the Sweden-Pakistan exchange, which we have started. So from trend's point of view, there are many things going on, and of course, nothing is written in stone, and everything basically for me is dependent on the people. If the people are very active, motivated, then it will be higher chance that they will be implemented and realized. So that is one of my views, that the young researchers, to align them with the regional capacity, so we create more all together. And always this exchange between the region and research and different disciplines, it's a long process. But if we continue to do this, then we will realize more. And maybe 20, 30 years from now, when we look back and see how many technologies were created from semiconductors and nanotechnologies in this field, and also the collaboration projects, maybe we'll be very happy to see the outcomes of that. But this activity, it starts now or it started a few years ago, and we need to continue to do those activities.